There's a three-peat of national championship trophies here at Big Ten Media Days in Chicago. The most recent belonging to the Indiana Hoosiers, a remarkable story that'll more than likely be turned into a movie one day. Now, even all of that will be remembered forever. It's time for a new chapter, and that chapter has begun now.
Thank you. End of Big Ten Media Day. Everybody ready to get out of here and get home? Guess not. Yep. It's great to be up here today on 2 feet and still be on the roster, year 44, and really looking forward to this season, anxious to get to camp. First of all, I'd like to thank Tony Petitti for his tremendous leadership in the Big Ten. He is a great leader navigating this conference through some difficult times and continuing to grow and build the brand. I'd like to also thank Pam Whitten and Scott Dolson, our president and athletic director, who have been behind us lock, stock, and barrel, committed 100%. You know, I formed a relationship with President Whitten and Scott in about 48 hours and had to make a decision on whether to take this job, but had such a strong feeling about both of them. We decided to make the move, and as everybody knows, nothing great happens without commitment from the top. So I'd also like to thank our fans, who have grown and multiplied and turned out in record numbers for the college football playoff. We probably had 75% of the people out there for the Rose Bowl, about 95% for the Peach Bowl. And for the national championship on the opponent's home field, we probably had about 60% there. So we probably can't expand the stadium soon enough, but those kind of things take time. Thought we took some necessary steps forward last season in year 2. We beat 6 top 10 teams, beat the number 1 ranked team, number 2, number 3, number 8, and number 9. 6 top 10 wins. I think the Oregon game on the road was the first against a top 5 team on the road ever. We also had 5 fourth quarter wins, 4 on the road. When you look at Iowa, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and I don't know, maybe Miami was the other one. But it's a great conference. Got a lot of respect for the head coaches and the programs in this conference. There's great coaches top to bottom, and a lot of programs getting better. So I'm anxious to get to camp. We had a good spring, but when you play 16 games, you come out of a season like that, you have some postseason surgeries, you got some new portal guys that show up that had work done at their prior institution. So I'm really anxious to get the team together for the first time and develop them. I think we have a lot of nice pieces. I think we excel at development and creating the intangibles once we get closer to the season. As a staff, it's extremely beneficial. The staff continuity that I have had, that President Whitten and Scott Dolson make possible. All right, we're on the same page. They know the blueprint, the process, the plan, okay? And what it really does, to be honest with you, and we're always still trying to get better, we're trying to improve the way we do things, is those downtimes can really be downtimes for the coaches, which they like their quality of life with me, as I think the players do too, with the way we practice, okay? All I can say is, like going into this season, I know I'm going to get asked some questions. We're very process-driven. Our focus is on the things you have to do in the here and now to improve as much as possible. To improve as much as possible today. Those types of things. We don't talk about product, results. We don't talk about championships, playoffs, national championships, those sorts of things, okay? I'm a firm believer in our blueprint. Our Monday morning meeting will be very similar to what it was 8 years ago. It'll be about an hour long. There's certain things we'll do in there. There's certain things I'll say in the team meeting Tuesday night that I said 8 years ago. It's not word for word, but it's pretty damn close, okay? And the way we practice, pretty similar to what we did 8 years ago. So we have a way of doing things. We got guys that have been together, and all we do is win. And we have a good culture downstairs. I'm going to get asked about the JMU guys. All the guys that have been with us for 2 years that were at Indiana my first year, they're the JMU guys. Okay, we've had a lot of nice pieces in the portal. I think we got a chance to develop. But, you know, the season is not a sprint. It's a marathon. A marathon. And you got to be able to handle success, failure, stay relatively healthy, even though when you look at it last year, we lost our 2 defensive ends, right? Wyatt was playing great football, so was Daly, and we had guys step up, step in, and still be successful. So I'm really excited. I've been on vacation long enough. You know, I'm tired of being bossed around by my wife. I'm ready to boss somebody else around and develop a football team. And it's all about development. Okay, player development, team development, positional development, and developing the intangibles, the mindset, and the identity of your football team. Questions?
Coach, on your right side here, second row.
Hey, Coach. Dan Worthington from the Triple Option with Urban Meyer, Rob Stone, and Mark Ingram. We talked in Miami at the media days, and I brought up what drink you had after winning the Cotton Bowl, and you mentioned Hoosier beer. All right, so shifting to now, there's a lot of talk about sponsorship patches. So I wanted to pitch to you, since you don't have a ton of time. I want to get your thoughts on this patch for Indiana football, which is a Google logo and the word me.
Is it going to make us better?
But it might
Then
get
I'm
you
not
more,
interested.
It might get you more money. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, third row on your left side here.
Curt, Colin Wilson with the Action Network here. What is one similarity between Josh Hoover and Fernando Mendoza, and what's one difference between Josh Hoover and Fernando Mendoza?
They both played quarterback. They were both starting quarterbacks where they came from. Josh Hoover's won a lot of football games, thrown for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdown passes. He has an innate ability to play the position of quarterback, kind of a natural passer, very accurate, processes very quickly. I think, you know, the things we'll ask him to do are different than the things TCU asked him to do. We're not going to put the ball in his hand and say go out and win the game and outscore people. You know, we're going to give him a run game, a defense, and special teams, and every once in a while on third down and punts a positive play. Fernando Mendoza was a little taller, right? He may have had a little bit of a stronger arm, but he was probably more raw fundamentally and just playing the position of quarterback, still learning. The thing I'll say about Fernando only is from a preparation standpoint, he did everything within the realm of possibility to become the best he could be. And I think what separated Fernando was when the game was on the line, those fourth quarter wins, the last 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that's when he played his best football. He was a tremendous competitor. So I'm really anxious to see Josh and the progress he's made in practice starting on Wednesday in fall camp. All the one-year quarterbacks have followed the same line, and I expect him to as well. And I think this team's got a lot of nice pieces.
A fourth row on your right side.
Coach Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle. You say the standard's a standard and you have the blueprint, but what does it look like if you're a player in that room, how you hold each other accountable to that standard?
Well, I mean, that's culture, that's leadership, and that's where having guys that have been in the program, been successful, that have strong character or smart, helps. You know, I like to recruit good players that are smart and have strong character because you can do a lot with guys like that. And, you know, I think part of the key to the drill is getting everybody to think alike. And that's where my messaging is important and upholding a standard and having accountability. But look, you got to have the right people in place. You got to have a process and people in place. And we have the right people in place, upstairs and downstairs. I feel very strongly about that. So I'll be stalking complacency. You know, I know that question's coming, but I like what I've seen so far.
Coach, on your left side here, fourth row.
Connor Gilley, Impact 88.9, Michigan State Student Radio. We talked earlier about the new transfers, the new guys getting acclimated to Indiana's culture and process, and a little bit was made about Nick Marsh's, former Spartan, coming into Indiana, maybe not getting it already, but has he become more acclimated, and how has the transfers at large been more in the Indiana process?
Yeah, I really like our transfer class. I think we did extremely well and under tough circumstances where we're playing deep into the playoffs. I think we filled some critical needs. I think Nick Marsh is a proven 2-year player at wide receiver, been very productive. I think you're probably talking about the gold shoes the first day of practice. Maybe, we don't do that where I coach. All right, and he got the message, and he's been great. He's had a great summer, and I'm expecting big things from him. And I'm expecting all the transfers, really, when they step on the field in training camp, to be a lot better than they were in spring because it's their second time through it.
Coach, on your right side in the back in the red.
Kyle, Sports Report. Coach, what do you anticipate that this team this year is going to be a little bit different than last year and the year before? Anything special about this team that you anticipate?
I mean, it's different people. So it's going to be a little bit of a different team, but it's going to be more same than different. I mean, all of our teams have been successful because they're more similar than different, right? We don't turn it over. We play smart. All three phases play off each other. We stop the run. We run the ball. We're good in the red area touchdown percentage, third and fourth down percentage. And those are things I want to continue to do. The faces just change a little bit. And the tweaks, probably the average fan doesn't notice the tweaks, to be honest with you, which were things that we do that we think will give our players the best chance schematically. But the schematic part of it is really overrated. Blocking, tackling, running, throwing, and catching is the key to the drill. So, we got to create the identity, the mindset, the relentlessness, the resiliency, and when we got 17 new transfers, which is about par for the course across college football right now, and further indoctrinate them into how we do things.
Coach, on your left side here, second row.
Good afternoon, Coach. Brock Morgan, Medill Reports. You talk a lot about culture, so how do you stay competitive as far as doing both in the day and age of NIL and the transfer portal, but also maintaining the culture from year to year, from team to team?
Well, the guys that earn NIL, let's say they earn a big number. They've earned that number. Nothing's given. Everything's earned, not given. So they've earned it based on their production. And if they're highly productive, that means they probably want to be a great player. Well, I've never known a great player that didn't want coached, right? And to be the very best you can be, sometimes you got to take a guy out of his comfort zone for him to improve as much as possible. So I don't know. Some people might call it old school, but we're very demanding to a standard, but everything we ask of our guys is reasonable and fair, and I think they view it that way too. I think they like the way we take care of them in terms of time on the field and banging and clanging and things like that. But look, what separated last year's team from the other really good teams I had was their day in, day out consistency. They stacked meetings, they stacked practices, they went into every game with the right mindset and respect for the challenge, and then they put it between the white lines and did the things that we emphasize. And you've heard my mantra before, okay? The consistency part. So if I have a guy that consistently cannot do his best, cannot be on time, cannot rub off positively on others, is uncoachable, he's not going to be in my program, right? He's not going to be in my program. And the guys that are really productive, they get paid. They get paid. And so we've tried to adjust, improvise, and navigate those kind of unpredictable waters for the last few years, and I think we've done okay.
Coach, final question on your right side in the back.
Coach, Nick Shepkowski from ON-SI. You mentioned the grind in your opening statement. Iowa, Penn State, they'll kind of speak for themselves. The Oregon game last year, regular season game last year, speaks for themselves. Do you look at that grind? You've done it now twice, getting to the postseason. Is that grind of the Big Ten season a net positive by the time late December, January comes around, or a net negative for where the team is at?
No, I think that's a loaded question. I think your job as a head coach and the assistants is to equip your roster, make it as strong as possible with adequate depth at every position throughout the team. When you play that many games, you're going to get some guys dinged and injured. Things happen. Next man up mentality. The Big Ten is the best league in football, and a lot of really good football teams. It's hard to win on the road. Very physical football teams, very well coached. It definitely prepares you for the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. The numbers speak for themselves. I mean, we don't run a hype machine up here in the Midwest. We believe everything's earned, not given. And when we fall short, we say we fell short. We don't cry a river, whine, and complain. All right? And that's why we're the best.
Coach Cignetti, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, that's really not the focus of the first team meeting. You know, we've got principles and values in our program, things we believe in, a way of doing things. And we've got two different manuals that are kind of like our Bibles, so to speak. And we'll go through those, and I'll have players read from them, and we'll go through the two. And I'll, every once in a while, you know, make comments about a certain thing, concept. So that everybody's on the same page on how we go about doing things, and there's no gray area. No, they're not. It starts with me, really. I got to make sure I'm on my game. I'm organized. I'm structured. I'm working smart. I'm working on things that need worked on that can lead to success, and that everyone is doing their job. And it looks different times of the day, and. You know, since the national championship, we haven't had very many staff meetings. I mean, spring ball, spring practice, anytime we practice against each other, good on good, you know, we watch that together, or offense versus defense, okay? And I run the remote, and we watch every play as a staff. Other than that, and putting up a practice schedule for the spring, we've maybe had 5-6 staff meetings since then. But now, come camp, we'll meet every day and watch every practice together, you know, and you're looking to see how guys develop and et cetera, et cetera. But, so my point is this, you know, I've got guys that have been with me a long time that are very capable. We know the program. I'm not a micromanager, okay? I let people do their jobs, and if there's something I don't like, I let them know it, you know, but it might be one-on-one. And, you know, I think we're in a good place heading into camp, but we got a lot of work to do. I mean, I think you find a quarterback that has a special characteristic and you build around them. You know, we've had the dual threat guys and we've had the pocket guys and somewhere in between. And you try to build around them in terms of X's and O's. A little bit, but not a lot changes. And, you know, I don't know. Just good sound coaching, I guess. I mean, we don't have a big offensive ego. Like, we don't have to lead the country or the conference in scoring, even though we lead the conference in scoring just about every year since 19. We don't have to. They've all been older guys and developed. But they've all had good pieces around them, too. We've had a good line, a good run game, good receivers, good defense.
What does that process look like of evaluating what you can identify?
I mean, well, first thing, when a name comes up, I Google it, right? And ESPN's got, like, the guy's picture and his career stats, season stats, and I want to see how productive and consistent he's been. And then it goes to the tape, which our recruiting department has ready. A quarterback is a key position on a football team. We've had older guys playing quarterback. It would be nice maybe to have a guy a few years, but I'm not going to complain with the success we've had. We could be in that same situation again next year, looking for an older guy, depending on how some of the young ones develop. But right now we're going into training camp. You know, we got Josh Hoover 1, and we got Grant Wilson 2. 2 veteran guys. And after that, we got some young guys that have a chance to develop. I think Tyler Cherry's back there practicing again. And at least early in camp, probably take most of the reps with the 3s. I mean, we play who's on the schedule. I suspect down the road, something will happen with scheduling, sort of standardizing scheduling. You got 2 conferences that are head and shoulders sort of above the rest right now. And I think there'll be some standardization. We're not there this year, and but it wouldn't shock me to see it in 2 to 3 years. I mean, you know, those 20-plus guys that stayed from Indiana that have, you know, been with us for 2 years, they're the JMU guys now, right? And the ones showing the new guys how to do it.
How healthy are you guys? Do you feel good about the healthy roster now? I mean, you mentioned getting up there, kind of guys coming out of that long season. How have things kind of progressed this summer? Do you feel pretty good already?
Yeah, we got some little things where a guy might be limited to start camp, and by week 2 he's cranked up, ready to go. Yeah, we're on the mend.
And you mentioned kind of giving guys time off and recognizing what you guys went through. How important was that for the coaches too? You kind of mentioned not putting too much pressure. Like, did you sense you all needed to recharge after kind of that long?
Yeah, I mean, there's things that need done that you have to do. I mean, you're still going into work and working, but when you think about it, you're 3 to 5 weeks behind on everything because you played till January 19th. Like yesterday morning, we flew in here, right? I was working on opponents yesterday morning until I had to leave to go to the airport, you know, still, because I like to know the opponents like the back of my hand before we go to camp, and it gets a little more difficult now with the portal, a lot of new faces. So, you know, I feel like we were playing catch-up the whole spring. So you're trying to balance that along with getting the guys recharged, you know. But those guys are a lot younger than I am, so they bounce back quicker. Good quarterback play. I mean, protect the football, complete the passes you should complete, be good in critical situations, play well under pressure, you know, be smart, play with courage, play with toughness. All things he's capable of doing and has done in the past.
One of the absolutes of your program seems to be a consistency and obsession with accountability. Where did that start for you, and how important is that to you and what you're trying to get across?
Well, I think when you have a lot of good people, the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. But one bad apple also, well, you've heard that one before, right? So we don't have bad apples. Coach Cignetti takes care of the bad apples. When they start getting a little soft on one side, right, they get looked at real close. And then when they've rotted some more a little while later, they're out of here.
You talked about the alignment with your president and with Scott Wilson. How important was that for you when you decided to come to Indiana, and then also while you're now in year 3, continuing to maintain it?
It was absolutely critical. I really liked JMU. I really liked it there. And, you know, people look at what a guy makes and blah, blah, blah. I mean, they were gonna make me the highest paid coach in Sun Belt. It ain't like the Big Ten, but I had enough money to live, and I really liked it there. But I really felt the commitment from Scott and Pam that things were going to change. They knew how critical it was to get football going in terms of their future in the Big Ten Conference and, you know, playing with the big boys. And I'd been here a few times, and I had a favorable impression of Indiana University. And I decided I was too young to stop growing. Not that I was stopping growing, but I thought it would be a nice challenge. And I was very confident in my abilities because of all the success we had had. So we did it.
Coach, for the first
I don't look at it like that. I mean, we wake up tomorrow, we're going to do the things that we have to do to improve as much as possible to put the best day together. And then do the same thing the following day, right? And then it all takes care of itself, because I'm a firm believer, you stack days and meetings and do the proper preparation on a consistent basis, you can accomplish anything. And that's how we'll go about it.
Coach, give me your take. The receivers are getting a lot of discussion. Give me your take as a coach. When you look at your receiving core, you see what and you like what?
Well, Becker has a body of work, was our leading receiver the last 7 out of 8 games. Nick Marsh has, 50 catches, I think 2 years in a row for good yardage. Tyler Morris is returning from an injury, made some big plays for Michigan 2 years ago. Then we got some young guys with talent also. Chaz had a nice year at Tulane. It all goes hand in hand. The quarterback's got to have time to throw the ball. The receiver's got to separate. And then the quarterback's got to throw the ball to the right guy and get it to him. But I like our receiving core.
Coach, of the 3 guys you brought today, what makes them so special, and what are you expecting from them this season?
What makes them special, I think, is their leaders on the team. And I don't think you lead necessarily with words. You lead through your actions. And Carter Smith, all Big Ten lineman of the year, shows up to work every day. It gives you his best effort. Tyreek Tucker, all conference nose guards, really developed, has a voice, and has improved in every area since we were his only offer coming out of high school, way back. And then Isaiah Jones is, I'm not going to call him an Aiden Fisher kind of carbon copy, but they're very similar to each other. And, there's 3-4 other guys we could have brought here too, obviously. Good players, good character, and do things for the most part the right way.
Johnny is a guy that kind of came in November, December, January last year. He played a few different positions. How have you seen him grow, especially someone who's been challenged to perform at multiple different spots on that offensive line?
Yeah, I think we'll find out more about him in fall camp. We'll probably start him out at guard. I think he feels a little more comfortable there. He played better at guard than tackle last year when he went in the games. And, we're looking for him to make a step. He's a young guy. A lot of times these young guys try to have it both ways, fun at night and then do the work in the building. You can't have it both ways. And he's just got to make a few better choices and decisions, get a little tougher mentally so that, he can play the way we want him to play from the first play to last play. Yeah, that really has happened. I'm a little surprised by that, honestly, but it doesn't matter whether it's St. Bart's or wherever. And, so I guess, like, you guys will ask me, do you ever take a step back and kind of reminisce on what you've done, what you guys have done, your team, your program? And I think those moments, like, is when I do that, because I'm always, like, a little taken back by, wow, like, you gotta be kidding me. So it's nice, but I also know that, we don't hold up our end of the bargain. I'll be hung in effigy next fall.
Who bounces out to tackle then, with Johnny moving inside?
Probably Joe Bruner. Just, yeah. I think it helps a lot. I'm just turned 65. I'm a geriatric. And you're son of a coach, so I've seen a lot, even before, I was 22. And, I know how temporary this is. And that, you can be a hero one week and all of a sudden you lose a game and, people hate you. And we've been lucky. I think we've won 15 in a row at home. I don't know. We've won a lot of games in a row. So haven't experienced that. Don't plan on experiencing it either. But I think it's more important to stand for things that can stand the test of time. And I think part of the reason we've been very successful is the things we believe in have stood the test of time. We'll know a lot more, after practice 1, after the second week, after camp, because, Brock Shaw came from Miami. We really liked him, but he had surgery down there. Gibbs, we were really high on coming out of high school, but he showed up with a foot that needed a couple screws put in. So Barker was out there. Blake Theory's still transitioning from receiver to tight end, and we have 2 other freshmen that, that room is really young, really young. Now, that can be I'm really anxious to see Schott, Gibbs, and the progress Barker makes, and then we got a couple new ones that weren't with us in spring. It varies. It probably has been 25, 30, but it may also be 6 to 8. Yeah, and so I just, anymore when I do that, it's more of a quality control thing. I'm not really looking to light a fire under a guy's ass unless I'm not pleased with him. I'm more like wanting to hear from Bryant or the defensive staff what they're teaching here or why this happened. Offensively, I guess I'm a little bit more of a critic. In terms of footwork and route running and getting the ball out of your hand, those kind of things. But, I think it's important. Oh, man, that's my thing. That is my thing. I go in that office. I got a nice office. It overlooks the field. It's got a nice view, got a big overhead, and screen. And I love watching tape, whether it's low red, high red, goal line, touchdown passes, runs, opponents. I just love that part of it. 95% of the time, when I'm in my office, I'm watching tape. Well, a lot of that stuff is projects and trying to find concepts that can improve you or reverse certain coverages, fronts, things like that. And then I'll even during camp, I'll bring it to the offensive staff. What do you guys think of this, this, and this? And, they may say yay, nay, and then sometimes I'll say, I want to do this, okay? You're looking for trends, really, and, what were the trends schematically last year? What showed up a little bit more? What showed up a little bit less? Those kind of things. Because, defenses are evolving, so offenses have to evolve along with it.
What is the national?
Well, you have to be able to run the ball. You can't be a great football team if you can't run the ball. And you can't control a game and put games away unless you can run the ball. And it all starts up front with the offensive line. And a couple good coaches I worked with a long time ago said, as long as you got a good offensive line, you got a chance to have a really, really good football team. And I believe that. And those running backs are all very similar. They can take it inside, outside, do the pass pro that they have to do, and catch the ball out of the backfield. And so we have 3 of them that are very, very similar, and I suspect, they'll all get a lot of touches.
What is the national championship worth to Indiana University, both in the tangible and intangible?
Yeah. It's hard for me to put a value on it. I don't really know. I know donations have gone up throughout every department at the university. There are things planned down the road. We have the largest alumni base in America, and you're starting to feel those people, coming out of the woodwork who for so long had really no hope or interest because we were so bad. There's no telling. At the end of the day, I'm just a football coach, but I do recognize that the rising tide lifts all boats. And when you win in football, a lot of good things happen. Well, Bray Lynch and Drew Evans both can be a center. We've got a couple young guys that can snap too. So we're probably going to start out with Bray Lynch. he missed a good bit of spring. Drew was playing center a good bit of spring. So that's the one thing Bob Bostad does a nice job of. Even in camp, he'll move guys around, guard, tackle, center, so that to develop that depth when something happens during a game in season. Oh, there's still a few teams we haven't played yet, but you look, since the NIL era has kicked in, the numbers speak for themselves. And like Illinois, a really good football team. Iowa, let me tell you, Iowa was one of the most underrated football teams in America last year. Minnesota's won 8 bowl games in a row. USC, right? Bob Chesney's going to get UCLA going, right? Matt Rule's got really close at Nebraska. I know I'm missing people, so I don't want to name too many. Washington. I mean, Washington's tough. And when you go out there and play, it's so loud, it's tough. So top to bottom, like I said, we let our actions speak for us, the things that we do between the white lines. And, there's a lot of other stuff out there, smoke and mirrors. I mean, if a guy walks in my office, he might have a lot of talent and be a really good player, and that transcript doesn't look real good. And I get a vibe that this guy's a little selfish, can't see past his nose. I'm not taking him. I mean, he better be the best wide receiver in the history of football. And then I'm still going to think about it.
Coach, you mentioned the NIL era. How do you feel about just the rising costs of talent acquisition? How do you handle
I really have a lot of faith and belief in Tony, and and I'm just glad that he's the leader of the Big Ten, because that's above my pay grade. I have no control, and for me to offer an opinion would just muddy the water. Well, it probably depends on how we're playing leading up to that point and how they're playing. But I would say, regardless, it's probably going to be a great environment. But, a lot of things need done before then, obviously. They're a great program, got a lot of respect for them, got a lot of respect for Coach Day, a lot of great players, great fan base. And, they're a Goliath. There's some Goliaths in the Big Ten. They have been Goliaths for a long time.
Last year you said that Jeremiah Smith was fairly similar to Julio Jones. Where did you see Jeremiah grow in his second year?
I don't think I can really answer that question. I know what his production was. I know what he looked like when we were getting ready to play him. He's a great player. He's a great talent. He's got a really good future after college football. Julio Jones, I can speak to more because I coached him. He was a warrior. He was tough. He was dependable. You could count on him. And he played his best football in the biggest games.
You mentioned that weekend that you had with the Beach Bowl and having to do recruiting. You mentioned multiple times how stressful that was, time crunch that was. How did you set yourself up? Because you landed a lot of guys you had on campus that weekend. How did you set yourself up to success when you knew kind of what you were facing?
Well, we had some official visits, so you lose those hours on Sunday. So let's just say I lose 5 to 7 hours on Sunday. I got to make them up somewhere, right? That's all film prep. So I'm probably staying a little later, coming in a little earlier. But, I mean, we went to the national championship my first year at JMU, North Dakota State, and we fell short. We could have won that game. I don't think I did a great job. I could feel us being in position to make this happen, and I was going to do everything within the realm of my possibility to make sure that this happened.
But on the recruiting side of it, too, how did you make sure
Well, again, I got a recruiting department, right? I got a guy that runs high school recruiting, guy that runs the portal, and a guy that oversees them, and then I got a couple people that are making the tapes and also evaluating too. And, you know, they're only bringing to me the ones that they think I need to see. And like if it's a D lineman, Pat Kuntz or Buda Williams has already watched them, right? And then they're bringing them to me. And it's not like they're bringing in a film anymore. It's all on your computer. So they walk down their office and my office or shoot a text. And so, I mean, I'm sure we could have done a little better job had we had all day, but we didn't have all day. And I think we did well with the limits put on us. Well, those are the young guys that have been productive in your program and do things the right way and have seen how other guys lead and taken some notes. And everybody leads in their own way. And, you know, words isn't the thing, it's actions, you know. And people look to guys that do it right, you know, that they can emulate, the young guys do. And those guys become your leaders. And some years I have 6 really good leaders, or 9. And some years, there have been years I had 3 or 4. You know what I mean? And I always put them out in flex, let them talk at the end, one of them. And so, never chose captains. I've never chosen captains, ever. Those guys are the captains. Everybody knows it. Out in front? Well, coin toss guys were who? Coogan, Fisher, I think Surratt. I rotated a little bit. I put Kalon out there some. I know I'm missing somebody. Pawns went out there with some. Nokowski, yes, was out there always. Those are the coin toss guys. So in flex, you know, I'll pick 3 guys. I'll rotate it, but only one talks. You know what I mean? And so we had a lot of good leader type guys last year.
Coach, you said since NIL, the numbers speak for themselves. Is it as simple as NIL allowed the leveling of the playing field for the Big Ten to catch and surpass the SEC, or what all constitutes that?
Yeah, I can't really answer that question because I don't know. It allowed Indiana to catch up, that's for sure, and we were smart, right? We were smart. So I can't really speak to that without offending probably half the country.
You worried about that, offending half the country?
Sometimes not.
Coach, you brought in 2 monsters on the defensive side of the football from Kansas State. What do you see from those 2 guys in the aggressive?
I'd like to see them be monsters. That's what I'd like to see. I think they both have talent. They flashed, and looking forward to seeing them in fall camp and see how they improve.
What do you like most about what Runner and Zach did?
Who?
Runner and Zach did. What did you like about them?
Well, Bruner's been a starter. He's a big guy. He's a tough guy. Played well on tape. Zachman had a couple injuries, but a nose for the ball. Had good ball skills, interceptions, good tackler, smart, very, very smart, mature. And so they were our kind of guys.
You mentioned Big Ten Goliath. Indiana, the new Goliath, or is it too soon to attach that label?
Oh, I mean, you know, we're the national champs of 2025 and 27-2 the last 2 years. Longest home winning streak in college football, longest winning streak in college football. You know, I don't know. That's, you guys write those stories. I know Michigan's been around a long time, so is Ohio State and Southern Cal, Penn State, and there's others.
How long does it take to earn that tag?
I think, look, when you start preparing, the goal is to be successful that week, all right? So you can earn it real fast, like we did in year 1 when we started out 10-0, didn't trail the 10th game of the year, or 9th, whatever it was. And then we took the necessary steps year 2 that we couldn't take year 1. So, but those kind of labels, you know, you guys put on programs, and, you know, we're off to a fairly good start.
Kurt, get ready for year 3. What did you learn about Bloomington IU that you didn't know when you took over?
I had no idea that we had the #1 alumni base in America. and then we had that many alums, and boy, have they turned out. It's incredible. And even last night, we had an event here at the restaurant we ate at upstairs, and the turnout was unbelievable. And then the people that weren't even part of the turnout that were in the restaurant, the Indiana people, I was just totally amazed. They're everywhere. I haven't seen much of this team this summer. And I don't know if I've ever had a team that was a good football team at the end of spring, right? You know, playing games in the spring. So usually got a few guys out for surgery, this or that, what have you. We got a lot of nice pieces. And I'm really anxious to get this team together, working with one another on the field in August camp.
We've got time for 2 more.
Huh? Say it again. What do you think? No.
All right, one more.
What's the next big step for Charlie Becker?
I mean, just be out there week in, week out, and be consistent. Be a consistent football player, and everything else will take care of itself.
Oh, what is Coach Haynes? Coach Haynes is awesome. Like, he is like a player's coach. So, I mean, he's super smart. Like, football knowledge, if you want to learn anything from anybody about football, it's Coach Haynes on the defense. And he's going to put his players in positions to win. I think that what makes our defense so special is, you know, he's going to play to the player's advantage, you know. He's going to try to get you a one-on-one with the back, a one-on-one with an offensive tackle. And then once he gets you there, he's done his job, he tells us. He's earned his paycheck. The rest is on us to, you know, win that one-on-one, whether it's blitzing on a running back, whether it's an open field tackle, whether it's Tyreek Tucker one-on-one with the center. He does well to put us in the positions we need to be in to win games. Yeah, the standard is one of the biggest things we talk about, and it starts with Coach Cignetti. You know, every time you take a field or you go into the weight room or you're entering a film room, you know, you're either getting better or getting worse. And if you're getting worse, Michigan or Ohio State or USC or North Texas might be getting better. So, I mean, every day you're getting an edge on somebody, whether they're getting an edge on you or you're getting an edge on them. So it's really about who can stack more of those days and who can have a better process throughout the summer, throughout the fall camp. Who's going to have the best fall camp? Who's going to make the most strides? And that kind of is just really what feeds into a dominant football team. Coach Cignetti? Coach Cignetti, like you said, the talking stage. Coach Cignetti is a guy that's going to go out there, and some people might think he's brash or he's arrogant. He makes some of these comments. But, like, as a player, from a player's perspective, you see a guy that has full belief in his players. He's going to go out there and make these comments and stick his neck out because he has belief in his players. And as a player, when you see that and you see a coach that has full confidence in you, you know, you want to go play your heart out for that guy. You don't want to play, you know, soft. You don't want to play timid. You want to just leave it all on the field, and you're doing it for a guy that, you know, will do the same for you. So when that first came out, I thought it was AI. I thought that was fake. I was like, no way, Coach Sig, like, no way did this. And no way did he do that pose. But when I saw that, and then when I saw the college football trailer, that was pretty cool. The college football trailer was really cool. So I gotta get actual hard disk so I can have the cover. That's pretty cool. Yeah, with some key players like Aiden Fisher obviously gone. For me, it's just gonna be maybe more of a vocal leader, and it's also gonna have to be, you know, making bigger plays. Stepping up, whether it's in the film room, taking the young guys. Elijah Hardy and I watch a lot of film together, but kind of being the guy that people can come to and ask the questions. And, you know, if the defense needs a spark, you got to be able to give that spark and give, you know, that energy, play in, play out, regardless of, you know, how you're feeling or how you're playing so far in the game. And kind of just being a guy that people can look to rally around.
We have that confidence that this is the best conference, but it's a gauntlet week in, week out. You know, everyone can play, and any team can be any team on any given week. So you have to prepare. And you have to be ready for those challenges because they will come. Hey man, that joint was pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that, I was like, ooh.
How are you about kind of the conference as a whole and what you guys were able to accomplish?
Uh-huh.
It's like talk about the mindset going from being the hunter to the hunted. You guys embrace that this program too.
We embrace being the hunted. More so, nah. I wouldn't say that we embrace that. I would say we embrace, being the hunter still. Like, it's more so we embrace the day by day, stacking of days and compounding of days and, getting 1% better every day and, being prepared so we can, go out there and perform. But, a lot of people are hunting for us, but it's the same is vice versa as well. And I feel like, Coach Cignetti said, and I'll second that I feel like we're the hunters still, and we kind of still all got that chip on our shoulder, and he doesn't allow any complacency, so I don't think there's any of that.
After a season like last season, is it difficult to keep that mentality at all?
It could be. Sometimes, Coach Sig doesn't allow it though. Like, he senses any complacency and he'll let you know. He'll call you out right there. So with Coach Sig being like that, it's kind of hard to get complacent because it's no room in the program for that. We kind of all focus on getting better and stacking days and handling our day to day more so than thinking about what we did last year. He'll be the first to tell you what we did last year doesn't matter going into this year, and he says it won't win us any games, and that's true. And, kind of once you buy into that, you kind of realize, like, yeah, no, that is true. We still have to, redo that. Like, that isn't just a given thing. You have to work for that, and you have to earn that. Great, man. He's been great, man. He makes the throws, man. He's great in the pocket, man. So, I'm really excited for the season to get started. Yeah, again, it's something that you kind of will always chase and you kind of always want to get there, and that's always the goal. So, it's one of those things that if you like winning, Coach Sig would, like I said, he'll always say, after 2 weeks, he was like, all right, that doesn't matter. But it's like one of those things that you put the work in and you want to duplicate that. It kind of makes you more hungry, if anything, I feel like. And you kind of got to fight that will and that urge to get complacent, because it's one of those things that can creep up on you. But, if you work and you have goals and you really want to reach those goals, I feel like you'll put the work in. Bones Jones, man, that's my dog, man. And, he's a general out there, man. He runs with him. He's the head of the snake, man. He makes the calls. He gets us lined up, man. He does it all. He makes the adjustments, checks the calls. He does it all, man. So, he means the world. Again, I guess they saw something, man. They saw something. He gave me an opportunity, man. And that's why I forever love Sig, man. He always, believed in me, and when others didn't, and I can always, go ride for that, man. So that's why I love Coach Sig, man.
People see him as the heavy set dude that he is. He's going to talk about not heavy set, and that was the wrong word. People see him as kind of the personality that he is. But really behind closed doors, once you get comfortable with him and you're in his system and you understand what is expected of you, he can start to loosen up with you a little bit, and he'll throw a joke here once in a while. So.
Carter, how have you seen Josh get acclimated to Indiana? Maybe how have you seen him turn into a leader in this offense?
Yeah, he's made a lot of friends this offseason. That's the biggest part, being a really good locker room guy and understanding what everybody wants from their quarterback. I think he does that very well by communicating with his players. And he loves to just hang out with the guys, We'll go golfing. He loves to fish. Just doing all that off the field work on top of putting in the work on the field is what cultivates those relationships.
How much are you looking forward to this receiving core with Nick Marsh coming in and Charlie getting another year under his belt?
Man, those are two of some of the best athletes I'll have my pleasure of working with. I think they're both going to put themselves in great positions this year, but we have a lot of other great receivers too. You got Tyler Morse returning from his injury. Guys like Davion Chandler, who have already put good game film on, and guys like LeBron Bond, who are coming up as underclassmen. It's just really exciting to see how that room has grown, especially now that the leaders in the past, like Omar and Elijah, have moved on. And it's really cool to see how they've developed and what they're going to do for us this year.
How much are you just looking forward to getting out there, playing that first game?
I'm itching. I'm itching bad. I'm itching bad.
You've seen Memorial Stadium crowds grow from freshman year to possibly sellouts in every single game this year. What has that been like for you as a player, and what does that atmosphere feel like now compared to what you see elsewhere in the Big Ten?
You remember Akron in 2023?
Oh, yeah, I do.
What a day that was. My goodness. But it means everything. And, you know, it all started with the Maryland game in 24, the infamous study later text that everybody got on campus. It was just great to see the town and the state rally behind a single belief that something great can really happen here at Indiana.
You obviously...
From your perspective, what's going to take for Indiana to be year in, year out playoff contender years to come?
The same thing that Coach Sig has been preaching forever, you know. What you do is who you are. However you carry yourself is how people perceive you. And at the same time, the body of work that you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So making sure that everyone is on top of their assignments and nobody's skipping reps or anything like that on the field. Making sure that everybody is doing their little nuances to make not only themselves but the team in a better position is what really is going to keep Indiana going moving forward.
Carter, piggybacking off of that, now that you guys did get a taste of what it does to be at the top of the college football world, how does the hunger keep going entering a new season?
I think the hunger continues by keeping the same kind of culture that Coach Sig had when he first came here, you know. In 2024, when he brought in all of his James Madison guys, those were a lot of players who were in a conference and knew how to win and meshed really well with the Indiana players who were there that are itching for wins. So keeping that relationship alive while we recruit more guys, high school or transfer portal, is key. But also making sure that everybody has the same body of work expected of them as the other person.
Carter, when you look at the way Coach Cignetti could be after winning a national title, is his messaging and mannerisms the same? Or is he coming in saying, we got to wipe the slate clean, it's a new year? Or is it something that you guys just intrinsically know that that's what you have to do?
A little bit of both of the last two things you were touching on. He's not going to change in any way that how he carries himself and what he does because it works. And he doesn't. Yes, the slate is wiped clean for this team specifically because 2025 is in the past and we're looking on to new things. At the same time, it's all about keeping the main thing, and he does a really great job of that for him and his players.
They've talked the talk. Now can they walk the walk again? The Indiana Hoosier season kicks off September 5th against North Texas at Memorial Stadium. Covering IU for Big Ten Media Days in Chicago, I'm Eli Gehn for 13 Sports.